awaydaysbeer.com. Proud to partner with Talking Town. For only $14.99, grab your ITFC Legends Pack from the Beat to Hoppy Robson to Brazil's Best and Pablo's Pal. Whatever you need, whatever you want. ITFC Legends Pack, $14.99 at awaydaysbeer.com. Grab it today. Mass Creations are proud partners of Talking Town. High quality web and software development. From web development to SEO and everything in between, make your vision a reality with Mass Creations. Call 07896 904 571 or visit masscreations.co.uk or email info@masscreations.co.uk. Mass Creations, proud partners of Talking Town. Support for Talking Town is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Hold up, fellas. I don't think we've quite understood what I'm talking about here. We've gone years in the UK without using the right tools for the job. Long gone are the days of a razor blade in the mirror. No more shall we look like Sideshow Bob down there. Manscaped have redesigned the electric trimmer. Their engineering team have perfected the greatest ball hair trimmer ever created and have just released the new and improved Lawnmower 3.0 in the UK. Their third generation trimmer features a cutting edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents because nobody wants a bloodbath in the bathroom. Did I tell you it's got waterproof technology so you can dim those lights, get yourself in the shower and groom to your heart's content? Whatever you do, however you do it with Manscaped's Lawnmower 3.0, and don't forget, you can get 20% off and free delivery with the code TT. Manscaped.com. Make your testes their besties. Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and we have another transfer story to discuss. Vaclav Hladky, excuse me on the pronunciation, that's incorrect, has announced 20 minutes ago, courtesy of ITFC's Twitter account, on a 3-year deal from Salford City. Looking forward to getting my contributors' thoughts, but also your thoughts on the signing. Get your comments in the live active chat. I can see a number of you have already started to do so, or alternatively, use the link that will be incoming to the chat and have your say live on the show. We'll try and cover England as well. England versus Germany tomorrow night. And we'll also look at any other areas we feel we want Town to be looking at. We've got a left back, we believe, waiting in the wings. So any other areas you feel, right, okay, we've addressed those two. Let's go and attack that now. Let's get a few comments before I bring in both the guys on a more condensed show. So I was bringing them both in. Well, I'll bring them one at a time, but without the intros, I think. Stephen Perry, who knows? They might accept our offer now. We have a goalkeeper. They might have thought it was him or nobody in regards to Sigurst. Is that because Powell asked, presume we'll not be signing Sigurst then? Who knows? Stephen Perry, well chuffed, great goalkeeper. Michael Ruttle, up the Town. Michael Brown, Mr. Positive here. Promotion, here we come. Rob Smith, another quality signing. Anthony Steele is loving your work on the ads. Well, thank you, Anne, but they only work if you go to them, the companies, and purchase either a burger or a beer or some lovely manscaping tools. You know, they're all for your family jewels. Make your besties their testes, or their testes the besties. Either way. Michael Finch, buzzing things are taking shape. Another forward, a central defender, another midfielder, and a few backup players. Let's bring in, he's Mr. Jet Setter these days. He's here, there, and everywhere. He's still in quarantine. Curts Yates. How you doing?
I'm good, mate. How about you?
I'm very, very well. First and foremost, get the most important things out of the way. How was your holiday?
It was good. It was good. I'm starting to think whether it was worth the 10 days in quarantine, to be fair. But nah, you know what? For the 10 days that I spent here and the memories that I made over there, I can't help but say it was worth it. I took all the precautions, wore my mask, did all my tests. I think I've took about 8 lateral flows and 2 PCR tests now, so I'm absolutely free from it. I feel absolutely fine. And then on the 1st, I'll be going into my going into the tattoo studio and starting my new career. So life is working out pretty well for myself at the moment.
Good. That is great news to hear. I'm really pleased, and good luck when you do go in. I'm sure you're absolutely going to smash it. Neil Peart says 5 quality signings. Somebody else who's, I reckon, riding the crest of a wave is our next contributor. He is. I'm really pleased he's made a bit of time for us, to be honest with you, because he's a podcast extraordinaire, all about brands. Mark Tuxford, how you doing?
Hello, mate. You right?
Very well. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad at all.
Talk to us about all about brands. What is the latest episode and where can people go and find it?
Yes, so People Behind Brands, you can find it wherever you get your podcasts from. As I said before, it's very much a case of just finding out life lessons about sort of different types of people, really. Some we may know, some you may not. We've had Nikki Forster on there, hoping to get some more footballers on at some point, but too early to tell at the moment. But yeah, just go listen wherever you can.
Absolutely. I thoroughly recommend it, as I know our resident cruncher does as well. Rob, pretty great to hear the club in the market for players being mentioned. So yeah, Neil Peart, 5 quality signings up to now. I start with you, Mark. Obviously, before today, well, including today now, we've got a goalkeeper as well. What are you thinking then on our business and on the goalkeeper?
Yeah, I think it was a couple of weeks where we were kind of I don't know, a little bit scared, I suppose, that we weren't going to get the bodies in that we needed to get in. But it seems to be sort of quickly coming together now. So there's more players to come, but I do think it's going to be a smaller squad. So I don't think there's going to be loads and loads. But yeah, I think I'm happy with the business that we've done at the moment. They're players that we need, not just to get the bodies in, but they're good players. And the worst thing you can do is just fill the squad with bodies, as Lambert did, and didn't do too well with it.
Yeah, and we're on the goalkeeper. I'll ask the same 2 questions to Curts. Kurt, get ready. But yeah, goalkeeper, Hladky, pronunciation again might be a bit incorrect. Do you know anything about him? If you don't, that's fine, because I certainly don't. But if you do, what do you know about him, and what are you thinking?
To be honest, I only really sort of knew the bits and pieces that TD covered, which was obviously the he was in Team of the Year. Obviously a Czech international, so all that type of stuff really. But yeah, I think if he's coming here, he wants to play for us. That's the main thing, and we just need someone that's going to be the number one, the mainstay number one for the next season at least, or into the future as well. So yeah, it's an important position, as Cook come out and said as well. Absolutely,
yeah, it's a very important position, and as we've seen every single game of high importance, they can win you points and lose you games in equal measure sometimes. Rax Max Guv, why is your theme tune not the Florence and Machines from the dark days are over? Also, what is your feeling about the captaincy at Town? Do you have one place in place as yet? I'm not too sure. Kurt, do you think it's a captain amongst the 5?
No, I don't think there is a captain amongst 5 yet. I think captains cost money. I think we have now brought in 5, and I think we are still awaiting that almost marquee signing. I mean, so some would argue that this is a marquee signing today, because I mean, you don't get, like, it's not often that you get a keeper who's, I think I saw something. I think he's done 24 clean sheets within 50 odd appearances last season. Now, I'd like to know what fee we've actually spent for him, because I can't imagine that it was too cheap. I imagine you see from Salford's little like dudes on the TV, you see that they are very staunch negotiators when it comes to transfers. So yeah. I can't imagine they were pushovers, but I know that they obviously also take in take into account like players' personal feelings, what they want to do. But I can honestly see, I can see us going all guns blazing for Crooks. I can see it. I mean, there's a lot of Rotherham fans who are kicking up raw saying why would he go to another club in the same league? There's different levels. There's different levels to what we can possibly offer as a vision now to what Rotherham can offer as a vision. And these players that we are getting through, I mean, Harper again. The thing is with Harpy, he's almost waiting to kickstart his career. He needs to kickstart his career. He's only young, so it's a low risk transfer in terms of Harper. Wes Burns, good quality, wanted by people in the top division. Lee Evans again, good quality player for this division. Hladky, I can't say no. I can't say no too much about him. I know about as much as everyone else in regards to the stats that get put out there, but. What's nice to know now is the fact that we are under an ownership where we can look at these players and think, right, we've got a right good chance of getting them. Whereas under Evans, we'd be looking for Frank Fielding, 33 years of age, who's only played one game in 2 years at Millwall. That's who we'd be looking at under Evans. And then we'd actually probably all be overjoyed at it because we've been so downbeat about our two goalkeepers that we had last season. We'd probably all be buzzing about Frank Fielding because that's our standard that we had. Whereas now this standard gets raised and we are able to bring in players like this. Yeah, they might cost a little bit more, but it's what you got to do to get the best players in. And unfortunately, the club lost its way, and for some reason we didn't do this for many, many years. Whereas now we can enjoy being for a lot of years, we got told that we were one of the big boys in the league, and now we've got a little bit of spending power behind us, which allows us to actually give us that right of being one of the big teams in the league, and hopefully it'll all gel together. But obviously, only time will tell. But I'm buzzing about the acquisitions that we got so far. I'm buzzing.
Absolutely. I think he's right there, isn't he? Talks about Frank Fielding. I mean, you'd have him dressed up as championship experience. Couldn't get in ahead of Bart, and we all know how great Bart is. So not that we shouldn't count that against him. I think Curtis probably hit the ball.
Yeah, completely agree. I think it is. As we all knew that with Evans, we was in the bargain bin. We were trying to get has been or that kind of stuff really. And obviously with the new owners, we can spend some money. And yeah, it sets us up for good acquisitions coming in, I think. And just 1 point on the goalkeeper, I think he's got a very good penalty record. So if Toto's playing next season, then we'll definitely get a penalty here and there. So if he can save them, that'd be even better.
Well, yeah, exactly. I've just seen his Salford save. The club have just tweeted it out. Fantastic penalty save. I know nothing about him. I know Rich and Matt have been raving about him and have been calling to say we should be looking to sign him for the best part of nearly 6 months to 7 months. Far back as maybe Plymouth, but I don't know.
He has come out of nowhere, though, isn't he? He's come out of nowhere. I think obviously we've been linked with those 3 goalkeepers in the off season, and I didn't see his name come up once. So, I think it's a bit of it's one that's sort of come out of nowhere, I suppose. But that's a good thing.
Yeah. My first thoughts are he's got fantastic hair, and as a guy who fancies himself with a bit of a fantastic hairdo as well, full on that. I don't want anyone to at me with how shit my hair is. Thanks. I fancy it. That's the most important thing. It's attached to my head. I feel he's got good hair. That's great. But playing ability, I know nothing about him, and I know stats. Curts say a good keeper's on the way, but Holy's got good stats, sheet wise. Like, I'm excited to see him play because this is a player that's got fan favourite. And normally, when you're a goalie, you're only a fan favourite if you're fucking good.
Yeah, it's one of them. I mean, again, the clean sheets you can take them or leave them. So you can like you mentioned there, Holy's stats last season looked absolutely fucking phenomenal. And considering people go, well, the defence was also good in front of him. I mean, I've not watched Salford much. I don't know whether their defence was absolutely amazing in front of him. So I don't know whether they've obviously contributed to his clean sheets. But I don't know whether there was games where he was almost like David Stockdale-esque in the Paul Jewell era, where he was whipping out these saves and stopping us from going double digits at some point. I don't know whether he is that type of keeper. Only time will tell, and I'll see that. But what's nice to know is that we've seen for weeks, like you mentioned there, we've seen for weeks, it's like Sigris to we've been going all guns blazing apparently for him. But then suddenly out of nowhere, this has come about. So what we've not been doing is we've not been chucking all our eggs in one basket, going after cigarettes. We've had this boiling in the back. Yeah, if someone offered you the choice of cigarette or Hladky based on the stats that they can provide, because that's all we can judge it off right now, rather than we couldn't get cigarettes, but I tell you what, we can actually get Frank Field, and you think, right, well, like it's nice to know we now have two options there, which we were clearly both going for if the other one failed. So it's in terms of that aspect of things, yeah, no, it's one of the stats can look a lot better than what it seemed, but from what I can gather from Salford fans, from what I can see from the online reaction from every single fan and all the highlight reels that you see, he looked a very, very commanding keeper. And again, I mean, what is it? He's 30, so what he can stick around for what 5 years and still play at a decent level. It's a great age for a keeper. It's a great age for a keeper. So yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah, and Tux, I see you agreeing there with the fan favourite bit, because this is a player that's a fan favourite for what looks like ability on the pitch. I'm not going to say any names with fan favourites for not ability on the pitch, but this is a goalie that's got the fan favourite tag wherever he's been because of how good he's been, and that's got to be exciting as a fan, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think, just in that comment just there, it's if he's in the team of the year, he must be doing something right. So, the stats don't lie at the end of the day, and yeah, I think it's a good acquisition, really. But I think I'm really, really impressed with his sort of penalty saving ability. I don't think we've really had a good goalkeeper that can save penalties probably since sort of like Neil Alexander, maybe actually. So, it's those kind of things which obviously help to make him a bit more of a fan favourite when you're playing in big games and you pull out those sort of big saves, really. But yeah, a good signing.
Yeah, I've just been sent this from a good source. It says the keeper is a ridiculous signing. There were big clubs looking at him when he went to Salford, and clubs in the Championship were very serious about him. Getting him is a huge coup. Stephen Thompson. Stephen Thompson, do apologise. Stephen, beat man. Stephen Thompson's the F1 guy. Do apologise. What do you make of it?
Let's get in that way. Put it that way. No, I agree 100%. I saw a stat the other day. I think it was yesterday. I think he faced like 150 odd shots, I think, on target, and they only conceded 34 goals. So his save record is pretty good. Now, if these are going on target, you take out your defence because they've already got past the defence. So if you look at it from that perspective, he's like saving virtually a quarter of everything. He's saving 3/4 of everything that comes to him. So I'm quite impressed with that. The most important thing I'm impressed with is how quick we spin, how quick we turn. Everything was seamless. Then as soon as it looked like they were going to try and fleece us, it was like, well, sod this, we're off. We've got another player in mind, bagger off. Now they're left holding Segrist, a player who'll probably lose for nothing next year. They're probably sat there going, we've lost our money. Well, you snooze, you lose, don't you? The lads at Salford have said, look, we're going to lose this guy anyway sooner or later, so we might have to make a few quid on it, and that's the way it is in football. And I think that's the same way it's going to be with Crooks. We're going to reach a point where we'll say, look, this is how much we're going to pay. If you go in there and say, we'll pay anything, you'll pay anything. You've got to have a limit where you'll walk away. And Rotherham know that. They know you're going to walk away at some point. Westbrook, what is it? Wednesday's put 5 million on Windass. Everyone's saying no, we're not doing it because no one's going to pay 5 million for it. It comes a point in any deal you've got to walk away, and if you're not prepared to walk away, you'll get fleeced. And I don't want us to get fleeced. And I think that's how quick we pivoted from walking away to getting the other guy in the door is key. And that goes into the total difference in recruitment policy that we've got now. It's so much more refreshing.
Yeah, to be fair, a great point there, Stephen. Mark, but could it be a smokescreen as well in some cases? Like, could agents and clubs and rumours be circulating, and the club's just happy to let that cigarette be out there as who we're looking at? And actually, while you will think we're playing over here with the right hand, the left hand's doing the business. Because I don't think many of our transfers so far have been really sort of in the public domain until he's in with a scarf.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that not so long back because it's as if like no rumours are getting out. It's as if like, are they leaking out what they want us to know? You know what I mean? Are they saying we're going to this person and we're actually going to somebody else? yeah, and then suddenly when it gets to a late stage and it's a bit late, they've actually come out with the other dude. You know what I mean? So it makes me wonder whether there is a bit of double play being played by Mark Ashton. He's leaking out little bits because he knows bits will get out, so he's telling certain people we're going for X, Y, and Z, and there's only like 3 people know the real person we're going for. You know what I mean? And I think there might be a bit of that at play.
Do you agree with that, Mark?
Well, I think in relation to that point, I think we've actually got a setup now. We've actually got a proper CEO. We've got a team in place that actually know what they're doing, and we've got money to spend. So I think all of those intertwined together just makes the whole process a lot easier, a whole lot better than it has been in previous tenure.
Absolutely, absolutely. Stephen, appreciate you as always, my friend. Thanks for coming on. You keep well. Neil Perks, Green Martin, business is being kept under wraps until almost complete. He also said Winworth 5 mil, no way. Milk Tray, he is pleased with today. I mean, Christ, it's either him or Holy. And Mike Brown, players want to come here now that Evans has gone. Or is it more, Curtis, that players always wanted to come here, but we've actually got somebody 24/7 dedicated and working the phones, as the old saying goes.
I mean, it's like we've all been mentioning. It's about selling the vision, isn't it? I mean, yeah, and I know that comment there says players want to come in now that Evans is gone. I don't think that matters. I think players, if they see a club that's on the rise, if they see a club that maybe has a new lease of life, then that it's always going to happen. And when a new owner comes in, there's this whole joy of, well, what could happen? Whereas, without being funny, if you were a player and you looked under Evans' ownership and you saw 12 years of, well, you saw 11 years of stagnation and then 1 year or 2 years, whatever it was, of being in League One, it's not a very good thing to come to. So as a player, and especially with Ipswich, it is off the beaten track. So it's one of them. Geographically, it's not the best club to go to. But in that same instance, that's why you've got to sell the club more to these people. That's why you've got to big us up, because it's the only way we will get players of your quality of Wes Burns, Lee Evans, Matt Crooks, even Raheem Harper. So young as well. Raheem Harper, we've got to remember, he's young. This is his first permanent transfer away. And and let's face it, he's decided to go to a club which couldn't be further from like where he's been brought up. So it shows if you sell the club to people, it would be a no-brainer to come to Ipswich right now. There's no downside, because everyone's got a fresh start, especially this season. Last season, if you were coming in January, it was all a bit hoo-ha in the air. But whereas this season now, let's face it, everyone's got a fresh start, apart from obviously the players that Cook's binned off to the 23s. Everyone has.
Well, even Dobb was proved there is a way back there, which is good. Ashley Bell is reminding me of the time I asked a Northampton fan last year how he rated Cornell, and his first reply was he's in shit. He doesn't think we'll find many Salford, if any Salford fans, will say he's rubbish, like Northampton thought about Cornell. Okay, we think Penny is going to be signing or being announced tomorrow. The left back. I'm not sure why we're dragging it out. If you are watching the admin team, just get me some content. Get it out there, guys. But okay. So take the left back away. You've got your goalkeeper. Where else are we looking at now? Where else do you think is the immediate area of need? If we had to kick off tomorrow, where are we short? What else do you want brought in? We'll start with you, Mark.
Wingers. I think wingers is a sore subject for us. I think in the last few years we have not had a decent winger. I thought we had that when we got Edwards, but it turned out that you can't cross the ball for shit. So it's one of these sort of things where I think he'll go elsewhere. Like he's gone to Wigan, he'll probably do well there. But he was played often out of position. And again, that's what's happened in the previous years where we've had like a fairly decent winger or whatever else, and he's been played out of position. Like we've had Judge on the left. But I think that left wing is something that we need to probably focus on a little bit more. I don't really think we've nailed that down since we've had Tom Lawrence and probably Ryan Fraser and all that lot. So we need to sort that area out. I know probably Burns might play a bit further forward, but I expect him to be more probably of a right wing back potentially. But I think with the way that Cook wants to play, he wants to play with attacking fullbacks. So I think probably a left back on there, obviously other than Peaky as well. But the fullbacks probably need to be consistent. KDY needs to stay injury free. The centre backs, I think, is another area that needs to be looked at. Obviously, with Chambers going, I don't trust Enciala with anything. So yeah, I'd probably say centre backs and wingers. You probably obviously get another striker in potentially as well with Drinan going as well. But yeah, I think it's the forwards, the centre backs, and the wingers for me.
Okay. Yeah. Mike Brown. Yes, Drinan's done. Robert Grimsey. Give El Mizani a go. Neil Perks wants a centre half and another striker. Dennis Edwards, centre half, preferably two and a decent winger. I've seen somebody else also want a goal scorer brought in. Kurt, lots there to pick up. What about yourself?
Well, I think we do need another striker, because I would imagine that Jackson has burnt his bridges. Whatever happened under Lambert, and then he came back in, didn't really do anything. So I would imagine that his time is slowly dwindling up. I would imagine that he will go somewhere, whether it's in the same league or someone might even take a punt on him again in the Championship to use his pace or what he's got of it. So I would imagine that we do need a striker, if not just to fill a bench option. Just to give us a couple of options on there. Wingers, I think, is a definite need. I mean, as Tuck said there, the only times I've ever seen out and out great wingers for us is when, unfortunately, we've had Lawrence and Fraser on loan. Fraser, for me, in terms of loan players, I would argue that he's probably been the best loan player that we had in many years at this club. Many years. I think the quality he showed during his time on loan, even though he got cut short due to injury, it was quite clear that he was going to go on and have such a fantastic career. I mean, I remember the goal he linked up with for Brett Pittman at Preston away, and it was the cross in was just perfect, pinpoint. And we've for so long lacked wingers who want to just whack in balls into the box. I mean, the amount of times we saw last season, like the players would get the ball and you just think, just whack it into the box. No, it was all this, a turn around, pass back to the middle, Matt, go back to Matt. We'll try and break out from the back. We just couldn't play it. We couldn't play it. So for me, I mean, Toto for me, I think he's a very good bench. He's a very good bench option in terms of if we have an injury, then shove him in to cover it for the main centre back. But we do need at least one, maybe even two centre backs, in my opinion, if Wolf can get over his up and down season last year. But for me personally, I think we still need an out-and-out goal scorer. I think what will happen, I am willing to put my life on the line here. I do think Crooks will. I think he will come here, because I think there's something about Ashton. Which he's got this Midas touch, which is fantastic to have at our club. I think he will come in. I can see Downs leaving, because that's got to happen. It's got to happen this month. Yeah, I can see him going, whether it's almost used in another transfer to another club, almost like a J. Emmanuel Thomas and Paul Anderson style deal. Whether it's some kind of make weight for someone else coming in, I wouldn't be adverse to that, because again, Downs didn't have the best season last year. Injuries barring, but yeah, it's a striker, winger, and a centre back for me. That is what we need. But you've got players like your Dobra and your El Mizuni, who, again, clearly Cook does like the look of, like, because let's face it, if they're good enough for anything, they're good enough for an option on the bench. They are good enough for an option on the bench. I'm not saying start them, but you don't. Let's face it, you don't need to spend big if the players on the pitch are doing it. And if you've got 10 good players and your 11th player gets injured, and you've got a second best player on the bench to come in and cover him, you've still got 10 good players around him to make him look that much better. So it's one of them. If you can fill up that starting 11, perfect. And if you can get some all right backup to come in and hopefully less injuries, like if you can get that, then I think we'll be laughing all the way. I think that'd be key. I think one of the most underrated or not spoken about or not yet foreseen huge signings has been the off the field physios, fitness, those sort of things. Because our injuries have really derailed, and injuries do kill a season, and hopefully we can be better on that. But they always say, Mark, your spine is where you need to be strongest. It's where you look at the Wembley team. Their spine was so good. Goalies arrived today. You've got Evans and Harper is your midfield too. You've got potentially Bon as your centre forward. Maybe one still to come in. Have you got a centre half that you can slot in there currently on your books?
that you'd feel happy about being a Colossus defender back there, or are we in the market really for two, with the backups being Wolfenden, Enciala, and possibly Corey if he's not loaned out for another year to get more season in? Have we got one on the books for you yet, or do you think we need two?
I think Wolfenden could play alongside someone, but I mean, as I said before, I don't trust Enciala. He's always got a mistake in him. He reminds me of Titus Bramble in his latter part of his career. He's just always got a mistake in him, and you can't go forward with that in your side. And if you're talking about spine of a team, Enciala is not anywhere near a spine of a team. You think about it, and you think about the successful teams of yesteryear, Premier League, Championship, League One, whatever. They've always had consistency through their side. They've always had strength there. And Enciala offers you strength as a player, but ability-wise and mentally, he's not strong enough. And it's the mistakes that creep in. It's the lack of concentration. And for me, he's a bench option. But I think at this stage of his career, he needs to be playing first team football. He needs to go and join where he was at Bolton at that time. He needs to go and join that kind of club and play. But in answer to your question, centre backs, yes, we do need to sign off. I'd say two, but we need someone to come in. We need that
Mowbray,
that mainstay. Yeah, we need that mainstay at the back that's going to play every game of the season. A little bit like Chambers, but who's got a bit more pace and is at 25, a 26, 27, 28-year-old sort of player who's in his prime, who might come from the Championship or another League One side potentially. But Enciala is nowhere near it.
I don't disagree with yourself. I see your Bramble connection. I think he's more of a Manuel Thetis for me. Might be a bit more your time, but because in some games Enciala could do the extraordinary really well, and sometimes he just does it really. I think, what on earth?
He just gives away a penalty at a really horrible time, and it's never a good time to give away a penalty. But I lost count the amount of times that he gave away penalties. I lost count the amount of times that he just gave away fouls on the edge of the area. And you can't have that. You can't have liabilities in your team.
He switches off too easily for me, Kurt.
Yeah.
Well, it's for me. I mean, I see Stephen's comment there where he's saying, let's not forget conceding goals wasn't our issue. He's right. He's right. Conceding goals wasn't our issue, but the goals we did concede were piss poor. A lot of them were absolutely piss poor. So, whilst a lot of the time, again, this is where the argument of stats come backing up. The stats can look amazing, but when you actually look at the goals that we did concede sometimes, or you just had to start. I mean, just think about the Northampton game. Think about the AFC Wimbledon game. These are games which, without being funny, we conceded goals when you'd be sat there. You'd be sat there, just hands on your face, going, "How is this happening?" Because
the one that killed me was the Doncaster one. It was the Holy and Ciala one, and it was like two goals in quick succession, and it was just amateur. It was like Laurel and Hardy at the back. It was absolutely diabolical.
And that's the issue. That's the issue that we've had for not. And I wouldn't put it down just to Enciala, because it's been an issue that we've had consistently with our defence. When we decide to capitulate, we decide to go for it. We decide to. We don't just decide to just give up. We decide to just tools down. If we've conceded one, let's go concede another two. It's the way we've been for a couple of years, and it's one of them. I'm seeing people there saying, "Now we could possibly get Ndaba, and he can maybe go in the side." But let's face it, if we are possibly going to have Wolfenden playing, you then need to make a choice. You either have Wolfenden playing or you have Ndaba playing. You can't have two inexperienced centre backs playing in League One when we're trying to get promoted into the Championship. You can't do it. And if you're willing to take that risk, then I think you're going to be in a minority of one. In my opinion, you need to have someone like Chambers, just higher quality, to guide a young centre back through. I'm not adverse to getting rid of Wolfenden. I'm not adverse. I think when he came in, he had a good season. I won't say very good. He had a good season when he initially came in. Like I say, last season up and down, but again, no one shone last season. No one shone. So I won't be adverse. And if you want to chuck Ndaba in again with someone experienced, not an issue. But Enciala for me, it's like Tuck said before. Is he the type of defender that you're gonna like hang your hat on? You're not gonna. Because there are moments like every has. every defender will have the moment where they make a slight fluff of the ball, and then you're all there, like, we're all there lamenting him. And then the next game, you hope for the best. But again, I can't help but feel that his past games for us in the season before, I'm not going to lie, they don't fill me with confidence as a fan. They don't fill fans with confidence, because we all still remember the mistakes he had. We all still remember the game that he got took off at half time against Portsmouth. We all still remember that. So therefore, that's where our confidence issues come from. And maybe, just maybe, when fans are back, that issue where, I mean, the players all say that it flows onto the pitch and confidence from the stands comes from us. Maybe we need a fresh start. Maybe we need a bit of a fresh kick up the arse at the back, because we had Chambers at the back for years and years. Nsiala, like I say, he didn't fill us with confidence straight away. So maybe he needs to just go out for the sake of his own career. I'd like him to go out and go and smash it again for someone else. That's not what I'm saying. But I just think maybe like any player, maybe they just need a fresh start and kick on somewhere else. And we might just need a freshen up of that defence, because let's face it, there's no one in that defence who you really could lay your hat on.
Well, yeah, and I think a lot of what you're saying, but what you're both saying, is actually a lot of the same as well, in the sense of an experienced centre half can mask a lot of things and also talk players through a game, and Toto needs that as well. He might be older than Wolfenden, he might be more experienced, but he's still a centre half that I would say is the player who needs guiding. He's not usually with two centre halves, you get a talker and you get somebody who needs to be talked to. And I think Toto is somebody who needs to be talked to. And I think Wolfenden actually is as well. So you've got two people that need somebody next to them who will talk them through the game, will guide them through it, will constantly be in their ear. If you think back to the famous Wembley side, Mowbray, Wayne Brown played next to him for a good chunk of the season, who didn't do anything else in his career. Mark Venus played alongside Wayne Brown and Mowbray, and then McGreal, and it was those senior heads around him that just talked him through the game. And he didn't do a great deal at a higher level after Ipswich Town, Wayne Brown. He was Colchester United, and pretty much that was it. Was it because he didn't have somebody next to him talking through? And you don't know. There's a lot of reasons why players do and don't. But an experienced centre half, a Matt Elliott type, a Jason DeVos type, they mask so much and help players so much. So yeah, a lot of what you're saying there, equal fashion. And Toto can be really good, but also he can be really bad, and there's no in between with him.
What I'll also say as well is, let's face it, the two centre backs also they feed off that keeper. So your keeper's got to exude. Absolutely. Your keeper's got to exude confidence. So for all I'm saying about the centre backs, for all I know, this lad could come in and just he could give the lads in front of him more confidence. Because let's face it, if you look back and you see Thomas Holy, let's say you ain't gonna be that hyped. Like when you see them either Cornell with his man bun, or you see Thomas Holy like hanging off the top bar as he does before every game, you're not going to be that trusting in him. Whereas maybe this man coming in, these lads can feed off him. But no, I do think a new centre back's needed. And Toto, in my opinion, is just great. He's a great option on the bench. Maybe shoving him on for the cup games. But I wouldn't be adverse to getting rid of him or Wolfenden and just bringing in a couple new ones. I wouldn't be.
Okay. Fair comments. Last 1 minute of the show. Colin, what do you make of today's business as we close up the show?
I think it's an absolutely fantastic signing, to be honest. Me and Richard spoken about him quite a while ago. Very, very, very good goalkeeper. Highly rated. Obviously, not just in League Two, but obviously in the Scottish leagues as well. I think he's a great addition, Guv. I've got to say, apparently very, very good with crosses. Comes out, dominates his box. Great penalty saver. I think everything is. I think he's ticked most boxes for me, especially in League One, because I think personally, what I've heard about him, he could possibly play in the Championship, and I think he's obviously been signed to play in the Championship, if I'm honest, because that's obviously where we're headed. I'm so Yatesy, Mark, Guv. I'm so enthralled by all of this. I just can't say. I mean, I haven't been like this for years. I've not been like this for years. I've not felt like this for years. And I'm sure people of Yates's age and even Mark's, and even you, Guv, I mean, what it's like for you, it must be like having like a birthday party every day, because I feel sorry for the younger generation. I've said this before, I'll say it again. I don't mind repeating myself. I felt really, really sorry for the younger generation. You've seen nothing. I've seen lots. But this last 10, 15 years, I've seen nothing. I feel good now. I feel really, really good. And I reckon by the end of this week, we're all going to feel like even better. I think we're going to feel even better by the end of this week. I just get that feeling.
Perfect. What a great way to end the show.
I feel I need to speak to Colin every Monday, I think, at this rate.
I know. It does make you feel good. It does make you want to go and pump iron. For those who want to know European Championship scores, Switzerland have just taken the lead 1-0. Shaqiri with the goal. Is that correct, Mark?
I believe it is, yeah.
I believe it is. But yeah, Colin
it's coming home, Guv. It's coming home.
Oh no! Now he said it.